Hey guys, Kev here, and I wanted to talk about the Smith Wesson Bodyguard 2.0. So I know there's a ton of videos on this model, and they've now released this new version, the carry comp version. So I don't really want to, go over it in fine detail. I'm just going to try to make a quick video comparing the two, showing you guys some things that I did not see when I saw some comparisons on this and when I saw videos on this one specifically. And then I'm going to show you a couple of things you can add to the grip if you want to. And we can kind of go from there. And I'll probably just save this video and then add on some shooting footage later showing the two versions and if there's any difference between them. Or I'll make that as a separate video. We shall see. So real quick, this is the original Smith & Wesson Bodyguard 2.0. As you can see here, this one has the Talon grips on it. I went with the skateboard tape. I think it's called black sandpaper from them. I don't know why this schmutz is on here. I just put these on last week. I haven't used them at all, like fired them or anything, but I also bought some that will go down here on the magazine. So this is the 12-round magazine. It also comes with a flush fit 10-round magazine. But you can get, from Talon Grips, you can get pieces that cover these down here. The extensions, or whatever you call this thing, pinky extension, which I think is pretty cool. So I bought 3 of those for the 3 12-rounders I have, and then I have 2 of the 10-rounders now because I have 2 of these pistols. I can combine the magazines, which is cool. So I'll have 3 of the 12-rounders. The reason I love this gun is because essentially it's a shrunken down M&P 2.0. That's basically what it is, or a shrunken down shield. However you want to look at it, it is in 380, obviously. You guys should know all this already. But with the flush fit magazine, you can get almost a full grip. I can get a full grip, actually, with a large to medium size hand. I love that it has a little finger pad here, so I can put my index finger on there. It's a good just indexing point. The trigger in here is phenomenal. One of the nicer striker fire triggers I've felt, and considering it's a tiny little 380, I think that's pretty sweet. It kills a Glock trigger, but it is a different style of trigger, so that's something to keep in mind. This is what you would consider a pre-cocked striker system. So it puts that full spring tension on the striker, and then you are basically releasing the safeties and then dropping the sear or whatever, and that's going to let the striker fly. So there is the very, very small potential for something to go wrong if those safeties somehow fail and that striker is released. It will have enough energy to fire off a round. Now, I haven't heard of that happening with any M&Ps, any shields, and of course not with the Bodyguard 2.0. But I wanted to point it out versus a Glock style trigger, which is basically a partially cocked striker setup. So even if all of those internal safeties failed on a Glock and that striker was able to release, it only has a slight bit of energy. I think it's about like a third of the way sprung. It would more than likely cause a light primer strike or not any at all because it doesn't have enough energy. And that is the inherent safety of a Glock style system. And that's also why the trigger sucks on a Glock, because you have to account for that. And as you're pulling the trigger, you're actually cocking the striker the rest of the way and then releasing it. Whereas with a model like this, and just to show you, this is completely clear. There's no magazine in here. There's no bullets, obviously. Completely clear, okay? So I'm going to mess with the triggers now it has an excellent trigger. So it has this little dingus tab here, which is going to release that guy up there. You can see that little tab underneath right there. And when you push that tab down, that goes out of the way. And now your trigger can operate. If you don't do that, it gets stuck on that piece. And it's literally, it's not a mechanical thing really, it's just a physical wall. You're hitting plastic on plastic and you cannot go any further. Now, one thing I learned with this gun is if you hold it like this and you like to put your finger at the top of a trigger like this, you can either get stuck or you'll get that kind of click sound like that and you'll think something's wrong. It's just that tab. You need to go a little lower or a little slower and let that depress and then move forward. But if you come down here, you're not going to hear that click at all. Okay? You're going to hear you're going to feel a really defined wall. It's unbelievable in this little guy. But we have hit a wall and then we have a nice clean break. Feels like it's about 5 pounds, something like that. Not a super light trigger. That's kind of the point because in this case, I do not have the manual safety on this model. It is your only safety is that little dingus and then the fact that it has a heavier trigger pull. Here's the reset. It is very long. And there you go again. You can see the mechanism working back here. That always happens on the reset. I don't know why. But in use, there's no problem with it. You can see this piece moving here. I don't really like that. I wish that was hidden away. It just kind of looks stupid having that silver piece showing. That's an aesthetic thing, but just something I noticed. Now, this one is the new Carry Comp version, which has some changes to it. The main differences are, well, the not comp. It's actually a port, but you have that port on the blade and the slide. It is a little bit longer. So see here, I'll line them up. You can see the Carry Comp version is slightly longer. And other than that, the only difference is the sights. So you'll see on the original version, you have this U-shaped blacked out rear. And then you have that orange front sight, which has tritium in it, which is great. But it's a really wide gap. So from this post on the rear to this post on the rear is very wide. So when you're trying to line up the sight and put that orange dot perfectly centered and at the top of those posts, it can be difficult to get it right because you have so much margin for error in there, which I think the point of that is if you're in a self-defense situation with a small gun like this, this is a get off me gun, right? This is not a 25-yard shot gun. Plus, you really shouldn't, if it's self-defense, I don't know why you're shooting at 25 yards at that point. You should just be gone. But anyway, it's a get off me gun. So you're going to pull it up and you're just going to find that orange dot inside of those rear sights. You're not going to be trying to aim a perfect shot, right? You're just going to pull it up. You have more margin for error, which means you have a better chance of getting a sight picture in general. I hope that makes sense. And then you can pull the trigger. Where on the Carry Comp version, they have now changed this to a squared off rear sight, still blacked out rear. And now you have a yellow fiber optic, still has a tritium in the middle, but it's a little bit, picks up a little bit more because it's larger, it's yellow, right? And you have less margin for error. So now I can be a little bit more precise because I don't have as much of a gap there to potentially shoot off target. Which I guess the point there is it may be a little more difficult to acquire your sights, but you're going to be more accurate. It's kind of a weird way So you have a larger front sight and less space between those rear sights on the right here versus a smaller front sight and more space between those rear blades. I'll try to put them together and show you this background, or this mat is not the best for this, but here's a good way to look at it. So you can see the difference there. There's a lot more space in that U-shaped rear than there is in that squared off rear. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. So those are the differences. Length, sights. Oh, and then there's some different finishing on the slide. So the serrations are a little tighter on this one. And it has the added window cuts on the sides. And then, of course, it has that cut on the slide up here. And it also has the porting on the barrel. So you have that little slit there on the barrel. And then that lines up with the cut on the slide. So when you fire this, gas is going to off gas out of here. And that's going to drive the muzzle down, and that should help with recoil. So felt recoil should be better on this version versus this version. Those are the only differences you'll see here. The serrations are a little bit wider, and you do not have any ports up front. You'll notice this slide is gray. That is because when I got this gun earlier this year, it had some chips like here. And I think there was one back here. It was a brand new gun, but Smith & Wesson done fucked up and let out one with some chips on it. So I had it Cerakoted by a gunsmith locally, and I had it done in sniper gray. I just thought it would look cool. I was right. It does look cool. Whoa. But that is the difference. This is just their standard, I think, armorite. Is that what they call it? Armorite finish. And it has this goofy shit going on the top of the scale, or slide. I'm guessing maybe it's just design, and maybe it's supposed to be like anti-glare or something. I don't know. But you can obviously see some of the differences there. Now, some of the questions I had, because I love this gun. It's one of my favorite guns. It's a small 380, but honestly, with the 12-round magazine in particular, I get a full grip. I mean, this feels like a full-sized firearm in my hand. I know that's ridiculous because it's a little 380 pocket gun. I mean, it's on the cusp of not being a pocket gun because it's pretty obvious in your pocket. Then again, if you're a big dude, baggy pants, it's a pocket gun for sure. For me, it's borderline, and I don't carry it that way because it prints. Where my Ruger LCP did not print. It just looked like a cell phone in that front pocket in the Vetter pocket holster that I had. With the Vetter pocket holster and the QVO tactical one that I had. I have that one. I returned the Vetter one for this. It just looks like a gun in my pocket. So I don't know why that is. Different overall shape, and it just doesn't work the same way as it does with the LCP, which is a little bit smaller. I think it's a little thicker, but it's a little bit smaller footprint. It works a little better. Obviously, if you're going to carry it like that, you want to go with the flush magazine. But again, with a medium, a really large medium, or just a large glove size hand, depends on the gloves, I can get a full grip on this with the flush 10-round magazine, which is sick. So I just want to point that out. But so some of the things that I had questions on: holster fit. This is something that none of the videos I watched answered. If you have one of these and you want one of these, will it work in the holsters that you already have? Because I have like 3 or 4 holsters because I'm a maniac. And I don't want to buy those over again for a new gun, right? Because it's longer. Does it make a difference? So I'm going to answer that question for you now. Here is the QVO tactical pocket holster that I have for this Bodyguard. Okay? So you can see nice retention, clicks in there. There's a little bit of space up here, and it's open at the bottom. Okay? So when you take the carry comp version, it does fit in. So you'll see a little bit of it sticks out here, but it still fits in. Now, is it great? No, because either way, it just doesn't look fantastic in your pocket. To me, it just ends up looking like a gun. So what are you going to do, right? So I use this for storage. I put it in here, and then I set it in my on my handgun shelf in my safe, and it just kind of protects it there and whatever, right? But that one does work. So that one's from QVO. Then I have one from, I think this is called the Fat Guy holster. I wanted to give it a shot. Apparently fat guys can carry appendix too. I just don't want to carry appendix. Even if I could get it comfortable, I just don't think I'm comfortable with that. Unless I had a hammer-fired double action, single action gun. Like if I had a HK P30 compact or something, then I would do it. Because I could put the hammer down and I would know the only way that that thing is firing is if I go through a full double action trigger press, right? Even if something went wrong internally while it's aimed at my junk, it can't fire because the hammer's down, right? With a gun like this, even though I trust Smith & Wesson and I would trust this gun with my life, I don't trust it with my balls. I don't know if that makes sense. I trust it with my life, but not my junk. Because it has that pre-cocked striker system, it does have more vulnerability than something like a Glock does. I guess I would trust a Glock too in appendix, but those aren't guns that I want to carry. So, you know. Anyway, I got this Fat Guy holster, which is basically a Fat Guy appendix carry. It means, by Fat Guy, it just means it lets it sit lower. So the way that they have the clip or whatever, the pattern on here, the whole pattern, it lets the holster sink down lower under your belt than a traditional appendix holster, because fat guys need it to get under their gut. Okay, so I don't use this holster, but it's another example. All right, so you slot that in there. You have a little bit of space in there. This is not an open style holster, so I did not think this one would work, but it actually does. Now it's just a little closer to the end here. Still has good retention, and it works. So Fat Guy holster from Fat Tac or whatever the brand is. There was also another company. Maybe that's where I got it from. Was it NCT? I think it was North. Shit. I'm sorry. But yeah, whatever company it is, it works. Just search Fat Guy holster. You'll find it. So those two worked fine. Then I have two more options. So I have a Vetter holster Comfort Tuck. So this is a Comfort Tuck holster. This lets me carry at like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock inside the waistband. It's comfortable because it's leather on the inside here, but then it has a Kydex shell to keep protection for the trigger guard. It's a nice sort of combo style holster. I really like it. The leather feels great. Yeah, I really do like this. I just don't love 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, or 4 or 5 o'clock carry. One, I just don't really like having a gun around my waist on my belt at all. belts are always a pain in the ass for me. I've always had a problem where my weight, like my pants always ride low. My ass crack's always hanging out. It's been a problem since forever. So adding a gun to that mix is just a pain. So I'm more of a off-body carry guy. Some people might have an opinion about that, but whatever. If you have a gun with you, it's better than not having one at all. So it is what it is. But anyway, this allows you to slot the gun in. It pops in there. You get the retention from it being tightened down around your body mostly, but there is some kind of residual retention there. It's actually in there pretty good. And it's open at the bottom, so it doesn't have the same kind of click that that one does. So this one, when it goes in, you gotta get that click, right? It's obvious that that's in place now, right? This one, it doesn't really do that, but it's in there. Like, it feels retained. You know, maybe it's just a matter of like breaking it in a little bit and then it would click a little more. I feel like maybe we were getting it there. See, it just kind of slides in, but it works. So if you have one already, I think it'll work. I think most people are probably going to buy this for the first time. They're not going to have one already, but I just wanted to show the options. My last option is the off-body carry option that I use. This is the 945 Industries bag. It's basically a crossbody bag or whatever you want to call it. And then inside you have a holster that is velcroed in, and then you have these tabs. So what you do is you put this tab out. It's completely ambidextrous, which is cool. So you have this tab out like that, and then you carry it on your chest or wherever you want, I guess. And when it's secured against your body, meaning something's holding this tight, right? You can yank on this and it will pull the zipper down. And it will basically just be like this after. I've tested it. It works. It works 100%. You just zip it up to there, yank on that tab hard, and then you can get to your gun. If you have it on your chest, honestly, in my practice, it's faster than having it at 4 or 5 o'clock. I don't think it's as fast as appendix. Appendix, you can just roll your shirt up and you're in action. But it's very close. So assuming it's on you, which is the downside to off body, it does work really well. So again, we have a nice click there. Retention is good. We have an open ended holster, and the carry comp fits. Retention is a little bit stronger, I've noticed, on all of them, but you can adjust retention on most holsters, so you just got to mess with the screws a little bit, loosen it up. I think that it's a little bit tighter because of what's going on here. It's just gripping it a little bit tighter. Maybe it's because it's a new frame versus one that's been in and out of these. I don't know, but I don't think so, because if I test this, versus this, like, it just feels different. There's not as much movement in here. Like, as you notice with that last one, I was able to wiggle it a little bit. This one I can't, it's tight. So I think it's just because of something to do with the slide. I'll test that theory though in a second, because I'm gonna show you another thing that I thought was interesting that I had a question about when I was considering this. Can you swap parts on this? The reason I wondered that is I really like the trigger on this particular Bodyguard 2.0. It's got a maybe 4.5, 5-pound trigger, something like that. This one has a 6-pound, maybe 7-pound trigger. Like, I don't have a trigger gauge, so I can't really tell you. But just based off of feel, it feels like a pound, maybe 2 pounds stronger than this one. Now, that could simply be this one has not been fired, and this one has 500 to 1,000 rounds through it. I don't keep track, really. But I've shot this a lot. I really like it. But it's, it's a carry gun. It's not a range toy, so I'm not going to put thousands and thousands of rounds through it. But I really do enjoy shooting it. It's not one of those like the LCP2 where I felt like I just had to shoot it to get rid of the ammo and to make sure it works, and to practice with it. It's one that I truly enjoy shooting. Which I think is awesome for such a small gun. But I was just curious, like, could I swap them? Like, if I'm going to carry it, maybe I would just want to swap these so I can get the trigger I like with the slide I want. I don't know. Will it work? So I went ahead and tried it. So to do a field strip on this, you're going to want to pull the slide back, push up on the slide release. I'm left-handed, so it's kind of hard to show you sometimes, but pull back until, where is it? This guy lines up back here. Push up, and then let it latch on to the slide release. Then you're going to put down the takedown tool, and then you're going to release this. And then you're going to need to pull the trigger, so make sure you safety check it first. And that is how you will release the slide. And then you literally just take out the recoil spring and the barrel. And now you are field stripped. You can clean it, etc. I just took this apart and cleaned it. When I get a new gun, I always learn how to take it apart. And then I clean it and oil it myself, just to make sure everything functions, to kind of get an understanding of the gun. It's just the way I like to do it. This recoil spring sometimes just doesn't want to work. So I just have to kind of finagle it until I'm able to compress it. There we go. Now I'm able to compress it. And I'm going to make sure I have it on the right spot. It's just hard because I'm under the camera here. And there we go. So it's in the right spot there. So now I can take this grip, which right now it's easy to tell because I have the Talon grips on here. These are identical as far as I can tell. I've not noticed any differences in the lower. So you're just going to slide it onto the rails. Pull it back, push up the slide lock, lock it in place, pop up your takedown lever, and then release the slide. And now you have it on there. Everything feels the same. Function feels the same. I just now have that more broken in / better or lighter trigger pull, and this one now has the longer pull. Everything else feels identical. I don't feel like this one's going to malfunction because I swapped it. I don't feel like one of them's not going to work. They feel identical. So I really don't think it'd be an issue to swap them. Now, what I'm going to do to be safe is I'm going to put them back the way they were. And then I'm going to test. I'm going to fire the new one. I'm going to put a few hundred rounds through it and see if that changes the trigger pull, if it just lightens up a little bit. Wait, this is the original one, so I want that here. And I'm going to see if that was just a break-in thing, or maybe that trigger just happens to be a little bit of a stronger trigger pull than this one. It's very possible. So we're going to see by trying to break this one in before I just swap them. If it doesn't break in, then I'm going to do a frame swap just because I like that one better. So if you can get to the gun store and handle them before you buy them, it might be worth it to see if there's difference in trigger weight or trigger pull weight. But maybe you want the stronger pull because you're going to carry it and you want to be safer. Totally get it. So there's going to be different reasons for people to choose different things. So one last thing I want to show you guys, because I hadn't seen anybody else show it, and that is how to swap the mag release. So I'm just mounting a flashlight here so you guys can see as well what I'm doing. And then I'm going to get my Leatherman out. This is the Leatherman Arc. Great multi-tool. I do prefer my other Leatherman. I forget the name of it right now. But it's not this super expensive one that is unnecessary. The only reason this is expensive, I believe, is because it's in the free series and it has a, I think, MagnaCut blade, but it's at a shitty HRC or hardness. So it really doesn't mean it's a better blade. But that's why this one was more expensive. So I prefer other Leathermans. I can't remember the name of the one I like. I have videos on them, so you can check that out. But what we're going to do is, let me see if I can zoom in and see if this works. Can you see down in there? Kind of. So what we're looking at is the mag release, but what I'm going to do is just remove it, and then I'll show you what I'm talking about. So basically, you take a flathead. You probably actually want something that's a little bit of a bigger flathead than this, but you can use one from a Leatherman like that, and you just push in. There's a spring in there. So you put that flathead in the slot there, and then you push in, and you turn it counterclockwise. And that will basically release it. And now it will come out of the frame. So now we've basically secured this pin right here into the mag release mechanism. And then you just are going to put it in the other way. We've captured it basically. And then you're going to put it in the other direction, and you're going to push in and turn it clockwise. So you're going to push the slotted Johnny boy in, and then turn it this way so that it releases, and now it captures it in the frame. So hopefully that made sense. I can't show you it in the handle because it's just too hard with the lighting, but you turn it like that to capture it in the mechanism. And then because I'm left-handed, I'm going to put it in this way. You want to put it in from the side, from the opposite side. So if you're right-handed, you're going to put it in like this. And if you're left-handed, you're going to put it in from this side. And by the way, this is, in my opinion, the best way to do a mag release. So shout out, or a reversible mag release. So shout out to Smith Wesson for making it easy. The ones where you have to like fuck with springs and shit in there are just brutal. So anyway, you just put it in the way you want, and then you push in again and turn it clockwise. Just gotta get it to the right spot. I did not do that. Make sure I'm in the slot. That might be the problem. So I can't get it out because I probably got it going a little bit. Let me just, it's hard to see. Oh, I see what happened. It looks like it came out of place. Great. There, did I fix it? Yeah, now it can fall out. Okay. So this happened to me earlier. The actual mechanism came out of place, and it was like this whole spring piece in here was over here. So it wasn't working properly. So you can see that that slot is vertical now. So when I put it in, that means it's horizontal. And I was going in vertical. So I need to put the flat portion this way. Get it in there, push forward, turn it to release it. And now it is in there. I also put some gun butter trigger grease in there to try to smooth it out a little bit because it is a little gritty. But when you have a mag in, it actually feels pretty smooth. So it's mostly just with no mag, feels kind of gritty, but with a mag, it's simple. So that is how you swap the mag release on the Bodyguard 2.0. I just thought I'd point that out because I hadn't seen anybody else do it, and I'm left-handed, so I should probably show my lefty brethren how they can do that, because having a reversible mag release is a necessity for me. I don't like having a gun that I cannot manipulate left-handed with the mag release. If it is the slide stop, that's okay with me because I don't really use slide stops. I will rack the slide with my hand. Sometimes I'll do it just for fun, but in most cases I'm going to grab the slide and slingshot it, or just pull it back to release it, right? So that is how Smith & Wesson does their mag release. I actually, just a little teaser here for you guys, I'm going to be doing a video on this gun as well that I just got in. This is the Staccato HD P4.5. So this is the model with the island barrel front sight here, which I'm tempted to have a comp cut into it, or a port, I guess, or whatever. I'm not sure how it's done. I guess it would be a port because the barrel, I think, goes all the way through. But I got to shoot it first and see how I feel about it. This is the smoothest gun that I've ever had in my possession or owned. And I think that makes sense because it's a Staccato. It's a 2011. Now, it is the Staccato that takes Glock mags. So it is a little bit of a bastard. But I thought that would be pretty cool to be my first sort of foray into the 2011 world. I do also have a custom, not a custom, but I don't know what you would call it, small run shop 2011, like a real 2011 on order with Vulcan Machine Works. So that's going to be sick whenever that comes. But I thought this would be a good start. And after feeling this trigger, I understand why people love 2011s. They are expensive. Staccatos are very expensive. Do I see where the money goes? Kind of, yeah. I still think they're probably a little overpriced, but most American-made stuff tends to be that way. But again, I don't know. Shout out to Smith & Wesson for affordability. This guy was 400 doll hairs, and this guy retails at 549 doll hairs. I got it for $4.99, so you can find it for less. And this one is extremely expensive. I don't even want to tell you. This is the premium version with the magwell and the X cuts on the blade. And it does have an 80 series trigger. And again, it is super beautiful. Look at that. No, there's like barely any take up. Oh, and then just a crisp break. super short, smooth reset, and probably a 3-pound trigger, something like that. I don't know. I don't have a trigger gauge, so I can't tell you. But it's my first 2011. I've had a 1911 in the past from SIG back in the day, and I loved that thing. It was glass. It was like glass, and it shot really great, 45. But it was, you know, big, and it was a 45, and I sold all my guns at one point. This is when I was in my 20s, and I was buying stuff that I probably couldn't afford, etc. But this is my first, like, real 2011, and oh my god, that trigger, I get it. And I can't even wait until I get that Vulcan 11, because that's going to be a legit 2011 trigger, a Series 70 trigger, which is going to be even lighter and crisper, and I can't even imagine how that would feel. I have an SRO on here and a Surefire X300 Ultra. This is going to be my home defense pistol, and I'm also going to use it for range training and such. So I got a holster that fits with the X300. That's why I have that on here. I'm not really a pistol light guy, but it feels great. Super heavy. It's comfortable in hand. I'm really enjoying it. But anyway, the reason I wanted to give you that sneak peek is it has basically the same system. Instead of having a slot, it has a 1/16 Allen hole here, and you just push it in, you turn it to capture it, and then you flip it over, push it in, and turn it the other way to release it, and it reverses the same exact way. So really cool to see Staccato and Smith Wesson doing it where they have reversible mag releases. Lefties appreciate that, and then making it easy as well is just absolutely appreciated. This gun also has ambidextrous slide releases. I can't even really reach it. And again, I don't really use those, but it's cool that they have it, and they have ambi safeties that are the same size on both sides. I really appreciate that too. So very ambidextrous guns here, something that's important to me. So anyway, I will do more on this, of course. I might do a breakdown if you guys want to see a disassembly, just a field strip of it. I already did that and cleaned it. It was very simple. It's a little more complicated than this, but it's not bad at all. And it was easy to get back together. It was pretty straightforward. But if anybody wants to see that, let me know. Otherwise, I'll have some range footage of it as soon as I can get out there. And I'll do the same with these bodyguards. So there you go, guys. Just a quick comparison. I thought it would be quick, I guess. It's 45 minutes. Of the Bodyguard 2.0 and the Bodyguard 2.0 carry comp, and a little sneak peek of the Staccato HD P4. Man, this thing is sick. Just love that thing. You can see the size comparison here. Let me lay one over the other. So here's the Bodyguard 2.0. Just dwarfed by the Staccato HD P4.5, and there's the carry comp version. Very cool. So I also, if you guys want to see it, you can let me know. I might film one of them. We'll see. I also have grip tape for all of these. I did this one to learn how to do it. I also did my Shadow Systems DR920P. I did not film those because I was learning. So there's two companies that are big in this space. There's LeftyEDC and there's Talon. I really like Talon. They are, it seems like they're just a little more straightforward. You know, you get the grip. You have like 3 options for the material. You can do like the gray sandpaper. You can do this black, premium black sandpaper. And you can do their rubberized texture. They also have one called Pro, which is supposed to be sort of in the middle, but it's more for carry. But then Handle-It has like 7 options, and it gets kind of confusing. You have the sandpaper. You have, maybe they were the ones with the premium black sandpaper. And then they had regular sandpaper, and then they had rubber, and then they had rubber with some sandpaper. Then they had the Elite Pro, Elite, whatever, that had just rubbery sand. It was very confusing, and I had to watch videos to figure out the differences. It's very frustrating. Maybe it is on their site, but they should have a page that shows you each one. You know, gives you a description of the texture, why you would use it, etc. I didn't see that from them, and that was a little frustrating. So they did have a Staccato HD P4 option, and Talon did not. So they might in the future, they just did not at that point. And I do know that Staccato made some changes from the original P4 that came out earlier this year to the P4.5, and I think even the new P4s have those updates. So I'm not sure if that'll be an issue, but I got the black sandpaper. That's my favorite of the grips. It just is very aggressive. It fits in my hand. It stays there. And unless you're going to carry it and it's rubbing up against your skin, I think there's no reason not to get this. Even if you have sensitive skin, I don't think it like hurts or anything. It just feels grippy. It's honestly the best. So I got that for the HD P4. So let me know if you want to see that installation. And then I got 2 for the Bodyguard. They had a deal where like if you buy 2, you got 1 free. So I was like, fuck it, I'll buy 3 and get 1 free. So I got 2 for the Bodyguard. I got the black sandpaper, and then I also got whatever it's called, the Elite. I think that's what this is called. And it's like the rubberized with some sandpaper in it, I think. But I immediately can tell that it's not as grippy as the black sandpaper. So it's probably good for carrying, or better for carrying than the sandpaper. So it's not going to, rub against your skin as much. But for me, I'd rather just have it be aggressive. I'm not going to carry it on body. And if I did, I'd honestly probably just deal with it, put an undershirt there or something, because I want to get that grip. So I do have that one that I probably won't install, but I'll have it, I guess, as a backup, or if I ever do, carry it traditionally and I want to change it or something, I have it. And then I have, obviously, the black sandpaper. And then I have, from Talon Grips, I also ordered another Bodyguard set. Let me make sure I don't show you any of my info here. One frustrating thing about Talon is they send the stuff like this. They're not in packs like this. I would really appreciate if they did this. But you just get this and you're like, okay. When I first did it, I ordered 4 for 4 different things. 2 guns and 2 AR grips. And I was like, what's for what? They do have like a number somewhere on here. Right there, 769. That correlates with the Bodyguard, I guess. So you can figure it out, but it's kind of stupid. I wish it just had a bag that said Bodyguard like this one, and they were all separate. So maybe they're just trying to conserve the ecosystem or whatever. But this is the Talon grip, and then this is just a 4x1 or 4x2 inch piece of Talon grip in the sandpaper. I got this so that I can cut whatever I want. I was thinking maybe I could cut some for like right here, something like that. So I got those, and then these are for the 12-round mags with the little pinky extension thing, and these go, I think, on like this. So it wraps around like this and then meets up back there. So it's like this. So I got 3 of those for the 3 12-rounders I have. And that should be cool. Now, here's the thing that I've heard. If you guys are wondering what the hell's the difference between Handle-it and Talon. There's a couple of things that I've heard and from getting these, what I've seen. Handle-it will break up the handle a little bit more. So you'll see here, instead of one piece that basically covers the whole grip, Handle-it has this piece, and then there's like a backstrap piece, looks like. And they do have a couple of small pieces that are made for this. And I've heard that they also sometimes include just an extra couple pieces that you could put wherever you want. I've also heard that they sometimes require trimming. Like, Handle-it basically is trying to cover every square inch that they can where your hand is going to contact the handle. Where Talon is covering as much as they can, but still trying to make it look clean and like make it look good, if that makes sense. They're just going with the handle and covering what they can with one piece, which I think is enough. From the grip that I have on there, it covers basically the whole handle. Like, it doesn't come up here on the back strap. You know, it doesn't have the pads here, doesn't go down here, but it's, you know, covering the majority of what I'm gripping, right? Where this grip is going to cover a little bit more, as I understand it. So let's try to just see what it would look like on here. I think Handle-it says theirs goes on from like the back of this side and wraps around the front, where Talon goes on like this side and then wraps around the back. So it's just a little bit of a different setup. So you'll see this one goes up here around this slide release here, all the way up here, back behind the slide stop. It goes up under the trigger guard. And then they do have a backstrap piece. We'll see in a second exactly where that goes. This isn't perfect. I'm just trying to show you. So I think it just covers a little bit more. Like, you'll see it's covering this top area of the grip right here that Talon is not covering. And it looks like it goes a little bit higher on that front trigger guard. I want to see if the back strap covers more or not. Yeah, it looks like it covers more. So I think it comes up to the top here and then folds over like this. So it goes pretty much from the top, from this line up at the top down to the bottom. I'm sure once I actually put it on and it stretches out a little bit, it'll cover this full back piece here. Where this one, you can see, does not cover. Maybe you can't see it very well, but the grip ends here. The grip ends here. This is actually stippling from the original grip. So Handle-it just covers a little bit more, but potentially could need some trimming. So some people prefer Handle-it because of that. Some people prefer Talon because it, I think, looks a little bit cleaner. It kind of keeps it with more of an OEM look versus Handle-it where it's obvious that you put on aftermarket grip tape, if that makes sense. So those are the differences between the two grips. I'm trying to think, was there something else I wanted to mention about that? Oh, if you want to see me install one, let me know, because it does require a blow dryer or a heat gun. I've heard a heat gun is actually better because it can get hotter and kind of melt that glue stuff better, where the blow dryer might not work as well. Although the one I used seemed to work great on the two I did. I'm not seeing any issues, but I haven't taken them to the range and put them through their paces yet. But I did take my time, and then you have to like heat it and then really like push it down and lock it in. And then you're supposed to do that like 3 or 4 times. So I did it 3 times as well as I could around the entire grip. So it took a minute. But I can show you guys how I did it. I would do it with a blow dryer because I don't have a heat gun. But I could show you how I would do it. Maybe I could install the grip on the HD P4.5 and then do the 12 round mags or something on the Bodyguard, just to show you a couple of different things. Or I could do the Handleit here and the Talon here. I don't know. I'm probably going to put a Handleit on this one just because I might as well have them be different. So anyway, Talon also has really good customer service. I bought the wrong one, the wrong finish for one last time. They sent me a return mailer, and like it was labeled and stamped and everything. I just had to put it in and shut it and send it back. And I got a refund. They were really kind about telling me, figuring out which goes with which model. Even though they explain it all on their paper that comes with it, I'm an idiot and I don't read instructions. So I emailed them like, hey, I can't figure out which one goes where and blah, blah, blah. They're just super nice. They didn't give me any attitude, even though I probably deserve some. So I appreciate Talon for that. They definitely have a customer for life for that. I haven't dealt with Handleit's customer service. I'm sure it's good, but I don't know anything at this point. But they both seem good. It just depends on what you want. I think I would put it like, they feel the same, the sandpaper. So I would put it, unless there's an option that one has that you really want, cleaner OEM look with Talon and more coverage, maybe a little bit more secure with a Handleit grip. And those are your choices. They cost about the same. So it's like $20 per grip, which I think is super affordable and means if you use the gun a lot, you can afford to replace those grips once a year or whatever it is. So that's it, guys. Sorry for the ramble there at the end, but I appreciate you guys. I love you. If you have any questions, hit me in the comments. Yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Peace. Hey, guys. So I was able to install the Handleit grips on the Staccato HD P4.5. And it came out really cool, actually. So I did take the magwell off, just took a punch to get that pin out, and then you just got to finagle it off. But it was easy enough to get back on. I just wanted to make sure I got it, all in line where it needed to go. And then if it was going to cover the magwell, if the magwell was going to cover it, it'd be better that way than the opposite. So you just put it on. I put it on this side, and then I worked my way under here and then over to here, and then I put the back strap on over top of that, and then I put this piece and this piece on for the I guess they're kind of like indexing points / thumb rests, which is cool. And then there's also a strip for under here and a strip for up front here. I put my flashlight back on. I find it easiest to take the slide off and then do it that way. Just seems to make more sense. This gun is clear. There's no magazine in there. I love this gun. Trigger is really good. But that is the Staccato HD P4.5 with the Handleit grips, Staccato HD grip tape. So they do advertise it for the HD P4, I think. Or maybe it's just the HD line. And it does fit. This is a new P4.5. They made some updates from the original P4. And it seems like whatever those updates were not affected by, or the tape was not affected by that. Everything went on fine. It went around the mag catch very well. It came up here and down to here. I mean, it's very detailed on the handle. You basically get full coverage. This is their sandpaper material. I will say, if you guys want to see me do, I'll try to record it. I'm gonna add the tape to the Bodyguard, and I'll probably do the handle it again, because this one has Talon grips on it, and I figure it'd be good to have one of each to kind of compare, right? I will say the sandpaper in hand, at least on these two examples, the Handle It grip sandpaper feels a little bit more aggressive, and I like that. It's a little more sticky. I don't like that this little line right here came up. I noticed when I was going this way, adjusting things, that there was some cuts in the tape to, I guess, allow for you to kind of adjust it perfectly and everything. And one of them kind of came apart here on me, and I kept trying to push it down when I was heating it up and, you know, kind of securing it. But I guess once it all dried and everything, that came out. So that's kind of interesting. But, I mean, it's not a huge deal. Just aesthetically, it's a little line I don't like. I was able to line up these stars perfectly. It does come with the star cutout, so you can, I kept them in case I decided later I wanted to cover these. I can just put stars over top that have the sandpaper. If for whatever reason you need that spot covered too. I think it looks cool with the stars showing, but it feels really good in hand with this tape on there. So I'm really excited to get this guy out there and shoot it. But I'll do a video on that. And then again, I'll probably record myself doing the Handle It grip on this one. It will take a while, so it'll probably be just like this. It'll be like an hour-long video, because you have to get it perfect the way you want it. Then you have to push every little edge down to make sure you get all the little corners. This is also clear. Nothing in there, just to show you, because I'm going to point it at myself here. Just to get every little corner and piece, you want all of these edges to be flat, and you have to kind of press them down multiple times, go around, do that a bunch, you know, and then you got to heat it up, and then you got to do the same thing, because you want all these little indents to be flat. You need all these little corners like here to be on there right, and it just takes time. And unfortunately, I don't have a ton of that, but I was able to stay up till 1 a.m. last night and get that done. So I'll record it on this one so you guys can see it. I'll probably end up doing the Handle It grip here, and then I'll do the Talon grips for the extensions, and I'll get the 12-round mags I have, and we'll do those as well. I do want to show you guys how I do it. The same process would apply for Talon grips and for Handle It grips. And again, I think it just comes down to which one has the model you want, and then if you prefer more coverage or a little bit more aesthetic looking, although I will say this looks great too. I thought it was going to look a little goofy having more coverage. We'll see how the Bodyguard looks. But now that I look at this handle, I kind of think, it kind of looks goofy that it doesn't come up all the way up here. And maybe the Handle It one will look better. So then it just comes down to if you like a company better, you like a feel better, if they have a finish you like. I'm definitely going to recommend the sandpaper feel. But that's me. You might not like it. It might be too aggressive. The Bodyguard comes with good grip already. It's kind of stippled here a little bit. So you might be fine without it. I was pretty fine without it, but I always like a little more grip when possible. Also clear. So, you know, but I am kind of on this grip tape binge. So, you know, I put it on my shadow systems as well. The Bodyguard, now the Staccato, I'll put it on here, and I have some for AR grips as well I'll probably do at some point. But yeah. So anyway, that's just wrapping up. I know I said, let me know if you want to see it, and then I just did it. So I figured I'd show the final product. I think it looks really good. And I think it feels really good. I was a little worried about up here where it meets the top of the slide, because it did seem like it was overhanging a little bit, but the slide seems to be just as smooth as it was before. So hopefully that can't cause any issues. I was kind of thinking, like, if it's sandpaper, maybe it would somehow like kind of be sanding down the slide a little bit, which could mess up the fit. I don't know. That's a little crazy maybe. I did try to feel around to see how good the fit was, because people always talk about that on 1911s and 2011s, and this thing is like super tight to the frame. I mean, I can barely get any movement. I can feel a little bit of movement here, but it's not like up and down. It's just kind of like maybe like that, but I could be moving it back. I don't know. There's like really no movement. And this one, you know, is going to need a little bit compared to their standard 2011s because of the Glock mags and the different trigger, I think. But compared to something where, you know, actually, this Bodyguard feels great. Maybe the Cerakote helps with that. But I know my shadow systems, like Glocks, I can kind of push the barrel a little bit. I can move the slide a little bit. This actually feels like really tight too. So maybe I just don't know what to look for. But anyway, there it is. Love you guys. And yeah, I'll see you later on the next one with the Bodyguard Handle-It Grip installation for Pew stuff. And if you're looking for knife stuff, plenty of videos before and after this for you too. Peace.